Hello, welcome to Carl DeGregorio's Desk Session 21, which is still a drop in the bucket, but enough for my own feeling of progress. And I guess that's what is the most important when you're endeavoring. Certainly page counts and numbers don't always qualify as quality. You know what I'm saying? So if you make a goal, most people are daunted by the idea of writing a book or a play or anything that has an excess of 100 pages, anything that might not grab hold until the 100th episode or the 50th episode. And the only reason the numbers are a guide is because it does measure your commitment. And that's really all that 21 means to me at this point is, you know, a commitment and a process of feeling better about, you know, the efforts. Progress this week vis-a-vis the show is I I updated Final Draft, which, you know, has templates for theater, and I've updated to the newest edition because inevitably you can't hold on to the versions forever. And there was the 64-bit conversion on old software that we all went through, and now my old version of Final Draft won't be compatible on a subsequent computer. So I figured, like, let's just jump in, and there was a sale on the upgrade. And a lot of that is also the transfer of funds to things is an energy. I'm trying to also, on top of manifesting a different attitude, because that's about all you can manifest. But on top of working out, artistic steps, attitude steps, mental health steps, my back's all jacked up and I'm trying to fight through that. My assertion to financial health, which is a thing often left out of the arts and the pursuits, is, and I used to have this attitude with the gym. I would pay in New York, I would pay for the year up front and you'd save. Many times asking help for Christmas for my gym membership, but you really need that in New York because when the weather gets bad and it gets cold, you're not, as apt to work out, so you can't just go outside. But the idea was two things. I would expend the money so it would make it harder to part with a large sum for the promise of a cheaper membership. But you can forget and let the monthly fee, drain your bank account, and eventually you'll absorb it in a way that you don't even pay attention to it. But paying up front was a way to commit, was also a way to hurt a little bit. The financial, plunking down the cash was painful. And it would also be a reminder come renewal time that how'd you do? Did you get to the gym? Did you, and so numbers are about commitment for me. So 3 days a week or every other day or 365 days, and then you got to renew. That was how I managed that. And it does translate into also the financial thing. So plunking down cash for Final Draft when you could, I'm sure in this day and age, find bootleg versions. You could, like I've done a million times before, I, made better financial decisions. I wouldn't even bother. I would use Word or whatever word processing I had, and I'd use Microsoft Word, and I would manually tab in, and I'd type I'd do everything manually, which formatted okay, but then it would be labor intensive on the typing and not on the creating. And so again, with the Final Draft, with investing in the microphones, investing in pencils, my dope ass Goldwings. I'm down. I got 2 left, so I'm gonna have to reinvest. For me, it is the transfer of energy and commitment. So plunking down some cash toward goals, toward treating yourself like a pro. Stephen Pressfield's follow-up to The War of Art was Going Pro, and it has less to do with what happens, in the outside world and more to do with, are you going to persist? Are you going to continue? Are you going to continue to invest? Are you going to try to find ways to be quicker, better? And a lot of that for me is like committing financial energy. And after, of course, the fire season and the knock on wood, as it improves, please. And as I hear horror stories about relocation nightmares, and I'm hearing horror stories about what the world of Los Angeles is going to look like moving forward, all of that stuff that I'm trying to keep at bay, I have also had to think about, what's important to spend your money on. I have limited resources, and so you have to find out what's important. And for me, it's ease of production, making it easier for me to do the things I want to do and committing to that. And so, and that's, I guess, the reassertion of the energy. And 21 being the episode is only a marker of some commitment. And I talked about Stephen Pressfield, but Stephen King in his book, The War of Art, and it might have, Stephen King actually, let me correct that. Stephen Pressfield wrote The War of Art, and he may be the man who gave me the 5 pages a day thing. But I also think it came from Stephen King's On Writing speaks about, he's so gifted, prolific, and it's his day job too. He cranks out, 10,000 words a day. That's how he knows he's done. And he's aiming for 100,000 words for a book. My book was roughly 100,000 words, page and font and size of, when you all those things mitigate the page number, but the word count. But he suggests for the mortal, which I certainly put myself in the category of, the mortal should maybe look at 5 pages a day. And in screenplays, that's can be a lot, but it when you're writing prose, it's a lot more. But, most people's stumbling block is, how am I going to get up to 100 or even 90 pages or anything past 10 pages? And that's putting the labor before the desire. You know what I'm saying? I was an odd kid in high school. I was half a jock and half a theater guy, and I was lucky to kind of have that hybrid status and not, suffer a lot of the slings and arrows of theater geekness. But I was an avid reader of plays, and once I got turned out, or once I got put on, or whatever, when I got some serious theater training in the summers and in my own time, in my high school theater class, I would bring in monologues to get myself ready to audition for theater, for drama schools. And I was doing it on my own time. I was asking for extra time in class. I was, definitely the student who got a lot of attention. And I showed, it was a great indicator, obviously, too, of this being something I was passionate about, because of the time I was willing to spend learning, oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I, from Hamlet. I would do that on my own time, bring it into class, do it for, I guess, extra credit, but I was really just doing it because I was fascinated with the notion of someday playing Hamlet, and really pretentious, and I would do it for the class on my own time, maybe at the beginning of the class or at the end of the class. And the kids would go like, how do you memorize all those words and why? And I'm like, well, that pretentious even at that age. I said, well, that's the easy part, the memorization. It's really the intent, all that bullshit. But to a degree, that is correct. Page count, those, and worrying about all the, how am I going to get to that kind of thing? What many times wind up happening is, if you're really inspired by what you're trying to do, what you're trying to say, you'll do more effort and have to pare down, because you'll have broken the tape on the race and you'll still be running. And that's how, younger people will find out, and these are litmus tests of what really turns you on. What are you willing to work on that most people find drudgery? What are you willing to work on that you'll put in the extra effort for? And now as you get older and face real world things, your energy fluctuates, and then you start to worry. But thankfully doing 21 of these, having 2 drafts of my one-man show, We Carry the Light, and now some progress made because of this holiday malaise and then this New Year's fiery rage. I've been able to calm myself down to the point where I could spend a day finally re-examining the text with the upload of a new final draft. And so I did one of the exercises that helps me with rehearsing alone or even writing a book of prose. If my goal is to sound conversational in stand-up, in acting, in writing, in vlogging. I just want to sound like I'm talking, and doing it out loud is the exercise that helps me. So I read my script from top to bottom, not the stage directions, because hopefully there'll be less and less of those as I face the idea of production. I want to make this thing so darn portable that, all I need is someone to say lights up and lights down, and maybe a memory stick with some sound cues, and that would be all I'd need in a pinch, traveling with it, etc., etc. I do have fantasies of expanding some technical stuff, but if I'm reading it and hearing it and talking it and feeling it, can I transmit the story simply and just verbally, So that's some progress on that, and it kind of coincides with a little bit of back issues and a little bit of fear about the future, but again, all the efforts people make, if you can get away from pressurizing things. The reason in drama school they encouraged physical fitness, and then we, as students at our time and era, we really took it to the next level. Thanks to a classmate of mine who was a gym rat, he turned me on to the gym. And then in the showcasing presentations at the end of graduation, we were letting the casting people and agents know that we were in shape, and that's taken on a whole new life. And that really helped me. And it obviously was vanity, but now as I'm older, it's about flexibility. It's about staying in shape for the things that you need to do. And when you mess up a back or something, and your mobility's jacked, that's going to keep you off sets and stuff like that. So, Ann Deaver Smith, I read one of her, I think it's a letter to a young artist. She's the brilliant actor and the monologuist who does one-man shows, which is of particular interest to me. And she's had a lifelong swimming habit, and these are some of the brass tacks recipes she recommends to the young artist. Get into some physical habit so that it's good for the body, but it's sometimes scheduling your day staring at blank pages can be a daunting task, or you feel unproductive if you have a quote unquote bad day at the desk session. That's the idea for the vlog, is it's a desk session. This desk session, I'm sitting at the desk, I'm literally ceasing to work at the desk to do this. But when you're alone, and that's another mark of whether you really want to do this stuff, when you're alone and working and writing and toiling at your desk and you have a bad desk session, she's recommending, and many other people, they're recommending a fitness habit, or for me it's walking in the park or walking in the neighborhood. You've heard a million writers, when they're stuck, when their desk session bogs down, they literally just get up and walk. And that's why New York is a very romantic city to be a writer in, because you can really just walk, and you can do that in LA too. So aside from what Missing Person says, that nobody walks in LA, but like I said, I drive to the park, get out of the car and walk, which is a very LA thing. But people do walk in LA, and writers walk and writers swim and actors swim and all that stuff. And so, I found it hard in drama school to quote unquote rehearse on my own. And I would feel reverse peer pressure. The workload at CMU was intense, and people were turning in work and showing up ready and just cranking out like effort. And I wanted to maybe mix and mingle a little bit, but when I knew that was sort of my output was going to be measured by the pressure of all these other professional training people, I would spend a couple of hours a week in a room, and I didn't know what I was doing. I would work my monologues. I would I wound up just wondering what the hell I was doing. And I don't know if that makes me, made me not the best student, but I understand a lot of my own process now. I used to hate doing that on stage. I used to say, the audience, at least they owe you not taking a pull on your beer. I knew a lot of comics would bring a beer up there, or a glass with their drink, or a bottle of water, and I always didn't like watching a comic take a pull on their drink, and I just did it on this. But now I know that it was them. It was giving a pause and offering some motion up there while they rattled off their next idea as they took a drink, or it gave them just the little nanosecond of where the hell am I in my set, I think. And my refusal to do that would really pressurize my ability to retain, and my memory. I would stress about remembering bits because I was rapid fire and just kind of forward energy, and now I understand that those cats that could take a chill and take a drink and take a pull or just pause for a sec, that really was a reset and a really good centering exercise. So hats off to those guys knowing themselves or figuring it out or taking the advice. That I somehow had this old school Las Vegas. I mean, the Rat Pack drank on stage and got hammered on stage. I don't know where I got this notion that, it was disrespectful to hydrate yourself in front of an audience. I guess that's the theater ethic, because when you're doing Shakespeare and your play is 3 hours long, you got to wait till you're off stage to rejuvenate or whatever. But a lot of what I've been also trying to put into the hopper this session, or talking today, and again, these axioms, they come at you and you think you know what they mean until you unpack them, or what do they mean for you? And work smart, not hard is, I guess, where I'm at now. What can I do today to be in full production tomorrow? Not a lot. It takes more time than that. So then why ever would I pressurize the present day with an unaccomplishable task? Meaning you can have the angst that is unnecessary, that I need to be in production, I need to be in production, but all you're going to do is not look at the script, not read the script, not tweak the script, not buy Final Draft 13. That's all you're going to do to yourself. And I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. And so, putting the phone down, doing a vlog, having my equipment ready, keeping this all set up for me for when I hit the space bar, I'm doing an audition for a voiceover. That's a good desk session. That's a good session. Their actors don't have the 5 pages a day gauge, or the 5 pages a day goal. It's harder for them. I mean, a comic can write 5 new jokes, and that's probably a light day. But if acting is your thing, which is your material, you're reliant on material coming your way or auditions coming your way. How do you quote? Obviously, you get into class, and then you got more than 5 pages if you've got a cool scene that's long. and you'll have that, that muscle building. And so everything is about working smart and not hard, but I think working hard is the entry point for any endeavor, but certainly any artistic pursuit, because you're going to learn skills that aren't good for anything but the thing you want to do. And the marketplace is not asking for your art per se until they are. And so, working, toiling that way has to be something that you're into, and then not get too precious about it, and then move forward, and then take care of people in your life, take care of yourself, fix your back. I'm going to have to put a couple minutes on a heating pad, you know what I'm saying? And it's all part of it. And I guess the progress being made after the anxiety of the new year and the progress I can report to you today is that I'm back to feeling hopeful and back to being glad for all the work I got to do, and for the work that is around the corner but that I can't quite see. We have to always have that faith and that hope that we're just a good desk session away, or a good audition away, or one job away from things changing. And so that's why you gotta stay in shape. That's why you gotta, like Andy Veer Smith says, you gotta get in the pool every day and take care of yourself every day. That's really not just artist's advice. And it's taken me a while to figure out ways that that I will take care of myself, and encourage people in my life to also take it. Ain't like my great artistic inspiration, Springsteen, says, it ain't no sin to be glad you're alive. And I'm not saying I was never glad to be alive. I don't know why that inspired me, but it's not a bad thing to take care of yourself, and to be giddy about the shit you're into, and to, I'm lucky that I get to still be obsessed with these things. And I have to remember that when the world piles on and things seem rough, I have held out long enough to still be doing silly things. There was a great, I did a short video for Funny or Die with friends many years ago, and it was it might still be out there. It's called Rainbow Strike, and it was about a dance crew, and we were just sitting there in our 30s and looking around and going, we're still doing stupid shit like this. We're doing a stupid video, shooting something on our own time, on our own dime, and for nothing but, a couple of clicks on a website, hoping anybody would give a shit. And we were gleefully blissed out on the idea that, like, this is ludicrous, and yet, it's what we hold out for as actors and artists and creatives, is that if you can get lucky and catch some lightning, man, you get to do this goofy shit as a gig, and then then your sails are lifted. And so, and you get to go to the grocery store too and find some profundity in that. And so I'm gonna sign out and encourage anybody who checked this out to live artfully, and don't forget to do the goofy shit, because that's really what we're all trying to do. All right, I'll check you later. Peace.